broke up. The first time seeing this is it, I've had enough. Cause like we hadn't seen each other in a month. When you said you needed space. What?
But before I start, my notes are absolutely cramped, so I don't have a whole lot of room, and I couldn't write this down, but I need help remembering it. Can you guys remember this phrase for me? If you could see yourself through my eyes, you could see how amazing you are. I'm gonna repeat it, and I actually need someone to tell it to me later because I'll forget it, so please remember it. If you could see yourself through my eyes, you could see how amazing you are. Got it? Awesome. Okay, so another thing I haven't told you guys about myself is that since I am a college student, I love free stuff. How many of you guys also love free stuff? Right? Let's do some noise, because I can't see anything. Yeah! Because it's free, right? Because it's free, and also because it's stuff. So, knowing that, I have here a $20 bill. I'd like someone to verify that it's real, that I didn't print it off my computer. Can you tell me if this is real? You can touch it. You can, I'm not gonna let go of it though. Yeah, that's real? Didn't print it off my computer? Alright. So, okay, is this too loud or what? Just a little feedback, little loud, I should step back.
Yeah.
Is this good?
Yeah. Yes.
Alright. Let me know if I get too loud or too fast. I'm kind of a fast-paced person. I dare you to keep up with me. This is gonna be, we have a lot to cram into not a lot of time because there's so much I want to tell you guys that's gonna help you in your futures and I hope stuff. So here is a $20 bill. Knowing our mutual love of $20 bills and free stuff, how many of you would be interested in taking this off my hands? Am I okay? Oh wait, ooh, hold on. I just crushed it up. How many of you would be interested in taking a crushed up $20 bill? Okay, For those of you who can't see, I just dropped it. How many of you would be interested in taking this dropped $20 bill? Oh wait, hold on. I'm now stepping on it. It's been stepped on, who wants it? Oh, hold on, I forgot to tell you. I missed it. Now I'm stepping on it. And I have an apartment and stuff, and my neighbor has a dog, and he's cute. And he left a pile of present in the yard, and on my way here, I was in a rush, again, fast-paced person, and I stepped in it. So now the molecules of the poo are being ground into the $20 bill, who still wants it. Exactly. Because you guys are smart, and you know you'll either wash it off or you'll spend it faster, right? Okay, so 1 sec, I'm almost done. I love this sound.
Okay.
I just ripped up a $20 freaking bill. Whoa, who would be willing to take a ripped up $20 bill? Ladies, did you know that if I take this back together, it's still legal tender? Who wants the torn up toy?
If you give 75% of the bill, I think you can still spend it.
Promise I'm not doing illegal things. Okay. See this trash can?
Yes.
Oh, darn it. Who, if you knew I was going to leave this trash can here, would come by and grab the pieces from the $20? Exactly, ladies. Your words were never spoken. So anyway, so I hope you guys feel like, okay, first of all, I want you guys to know that the way we see this $20 bill is the way God sees every single one of us. And I'm not saying that because I'm guessing, I'm saying that because I know. And you looked at this $20 bill when I first held it up, and I asked who wants it. And you all were like, me, because it's free and it's $20 bills. You saw the value and the worth, and you knew that it was amazing. Similarly, when God sees you, he looks at you, he sees your value and your worth and your amazingness, and he wants you for himself. And I hope that you guys feel like that $20 bill did at the beginning, when it was crisp, and it was firm, and it was strong. I hope that you guys have friends who really care about you and a family who can support you and loves you. I hope that you guys know who you are and you have a solid plan for your life and that you're trusting God's will. But I think if we're honest, we know that the world can be a really messed up place. And I think we've all been in that situation and had bad things happen to us like I just did to the $20 bill. First, I crushed it. I mean, I think we've all been crushed. I mean, how many times have you had high expectations for something or someone and you were really disappointed? How many times have you had a friend talk about you behind your back? That can crush you. And maybe you like someone, not necessarily in like a romantic way, but as a friend, but they didn't like you back and weren't interested in your friendship. And then I dropped that $20 bill. We get dropped all the time. Maybe your parents got divorced and you don't see one of them anymore. That can feel dropped. Maybe it's something else. Maybe one of your best friends drops you for somebody else and goes to hang out with them after telling you they would hang out with you time and time again. Maybe a boy is cheating on you. That can make you feel dropped. A friend of mine named Rachel, she knew what it felt like to be dropped. In 4th grade, a girl in her class, not really a friend, named Katie, made the We Hate Rachel Allen Club. The sole purpose of this club was to run away from Rachel every day at recess on the blacktop. Sometimes when I tell that, people, laugh like, haha, they're kids, that's kind of funny. No, but you guys aren't laughing because you know it's not funny. It's serious, and that hurts. That kind of being dropped sucks. And then I stepped on the $20 bill. Guys, we step on one another all the time. All the time. When we use one another for pleasure, for popularity, maybe you're that kid that always gets picked for group projects, to be in projects with people. And they're your friends during the project, but then after you jack up their grade, they don't want to talk to you anymore. That can be pretty stepped on. And then I talked about how there, was poop getting grounded into the $20 bill. And while I hope none of you have ever been pooped on, maybe you guys have an idea of what it feels like metaphorically, with being treated like waste. Like just being kind of thrown to the wayside and treated like crap. There's a man who's a youth culture expert, and what he does, his entire job is to understand our culture, to understand, as teenagers, my age, your age, how we function and how we get along and the dynamics of our relationships. He took a survey of over 70 countries worldwide and asked on that survey one specific question, and it was, describe in one word how you feel. Describe your life in one word. The #1 answer in 70 countries was crap. My life is crap. I feel like crap. Guys, that's not okay. People should not feel that way. People should not feel like crap. And maybe you've been there. Maybe you know how that is. And I'm begging you guys, if you are in that situation now and you feel like crap, please tell somebody. Because nobody should feel like that. No one should be in that situation. And there are many people, and I can guarantee you, there are people who want you to feel better. And all you have to do is tell them, and they will make sure you get the help you deserve. And then I picked up that $20 bill and I smoothed it out, and I tore it in 3 pieces. You guys should have seen your faces. Because there's something tragic, right, about tearing up a $20 bill. That's a lot of money. That's like 20 things off the dollar menu. And that's substantial, especially as a college student. That was my $20 bill. But how much more tragic is it when it's someone's heart that's being torn and ripped? People rip at each other's hearts all the time. When they make fun of one another or talk about you behind your back, that's a rip. Or maybe you lost someone, or someone you love died. I know that happened to me. When I was 8, my mom died. That was a big rip. And sometimes, and I think this is the worst kind of rip, is when we rip apart ourselves. I've done it. I would like to say that I haven't, but I have. I've stood in the mirror and looked at myself and said, Forrest, you're not as funny as the other kids. Rip. Forrest, why are you fat? Rip. Forrest, your teeth look ridiculous. I used to have buck teeth. Rip. So not funny. But there's all kinds of ways that we rip ourselves apart. And sometimes people feel so ripped that they feel like trash. People rip themselves apart to the point that they're like this. There was one family that I knew that had a daughter who was about your age. She was going on 16. And they were going to throw her a 16th birthday party. And so her parents took her out and bought her a dress in her favorite color. It was gorgeous. It was the best dress ever. And she was so excited. So she printed up her invitations and took them to school to hand out to her class. And she's not the most popular girl in her class. And so when she handed them to some of the other girls, they would roll their eyes or make comments under their breath. Rip. And then the guys were worse. Because girls, we're really mean. Like, let's face it, girls are mean. But sometimes we're kind of passive about it. Guys can just be straight up mean. Like, the guys that she handed the invitations to that didn't want the invitations, in front of her face crumpled them up and threw them away. Of course, her friends, who were good friends with her, saw this and were like, hey, man, are you okay? That really sucks. Do you need anything? Can we help you? And she put up the I'm fine mask and said, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. But she wasn't. She went home that night and got online. And I think we all know that sometimes when you have a screen in front of your face, like a computer screen or a phone screen, it's easier to be someone you're not. A lot of people had said things to her, about her invitations, that were just awful. She must have felt like trash. Because that night, she went up to her room and she hung herself. She died the next morning. And the dress that her parents bought her to wear to her 15th birthday party is the dress that they buried her in. Guys, it should never be like that. That is not okay. She thought she was trash, and the reality is we're not. That $20 bill is not trash. That $20 bill is worth so much, and neither was she. But we buy into this lie that we're trash. The truth is, guys, the truth is that the world is full of hope. The truth is that God loves you so ridiculously, your brain is literally incapable of wrapping itself around that love. You literally cannot fathom it. So, what God does in that situation is that he'll go wherever we are. He'll even get his hands dirty, and he'll pick us up out of some of the worst places, and he'll smooth us out. And he'll put us back together, which would take forever, so I'm not going to do that right now, but you understand my point. And when he puts us back together, sorry, this is complicated. See, God's really good at this. He's not. Okay, but when he puts us back together, when I take this back together, ladies, I have some stuff at the pharmacy that I need to pick up. I'm going to go and I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this for my health. And I'm going to use this to get things that I need, like food, for my apartment. And that's going to be very good because it's being used in a good way. And just like that, only way better because he's God, God wants to use you. And I know that. I don't know how he wants to use you, maybe in little ways, maybe just to make someone smile in the hall who's having a bad day. Maybe in big ways. Maybe to tell a trusted adult about your depressed friend so they can get help and stop being in that position where they feel like crap or like trash. Or maybe it's even bigger than that. Maybe it's your vocation or your career. But regardless, God wants to use you. But the problem is that oftentimes we don't let God use us because we don't see what's worth being used. It's all about love of self. Because if we don't see how amazing we are, we will never be able to let God use us. So that phrase again, if you could see yourself through my eyes, you would see how amazing you are. So when we don't believe in ourselves, we really don't do God much of a favor at all. So I'm part of this retreat team at home, and we had this a retreat called Quest. Yay! And the colors on our thing are really screwed up, so you can't see it, but that's our medal. Have you guys heard of Kairos? The Kairos, like medals and crosses? Yeah, that's ours for this retreat thing. It's great. Notice it says joy on it. Joy actually stands for the whole premise is like, how can we find joy in life, and like, how do we live as joyful Christians, basically? And the answer is within joy. It's Jesus, others, and you. So the whole premise is that we want to get close to Jesus, others, and yourself to learn how to be joyful. And in order to do that, you have to reverse it, because it's a paradox, and all good things in life are paradoxical, which basically means they seem backwards. So in order to really get joy, first you have to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, ladies, the person who knows you the best, is around you the most often, knows the bad parts, but also the good parts about you, doesn't think you're worth it, then who will? Everyone else is going to take your word for it. Sometimes it's difficult to look at yourself and accept those bad parts of you that you consider bad. But I think if we look at ourselves, we can all admit that there are things about ourselves we really like. I'm a banjo and I love it. I'm really, really short. You may have noticed. In fact, the first time I met Brad was actually, I'd been here for probably 6 months, and Brad came up to me and asked me what high school I go to. Brad, I'm a core leader, I've been here for 6 months. Oh. It was really awkward. But I'm short and I love it that way. People call me, they say that I'm a total nerd. They're totally right. I mean, like, come on, nerd. Guys, I love it. These are things that people would consider bad, that people might consider messed up or like some kind of malfunction, you know, Forrest is short, something went wrong in her genes, literally. That's on camera, guys. Anyway, something went wrong, like these things must be bad, but the reality is, guys, that God doesn't do junk. He told us that in Genesis when he said, I made this and it is good. And the thing is, God couldn't have been lying about that because God is only good. So if he made junk, then he's not God and you're praying to the wrong guy. But there is a God, so he was the one who created you, so you by default must be good. And who are we to insult God's creation and say, God, this isn't good enough. I'm sorry, I know you love it or whatever, but I want more. Guys, that's not our position. We don't know God's will for us or our future enough to make those kinds of calls. And when we finally come around to accepting this person, whoever this is, good and bad, just because she is God's beloved, God's precious, God's princess, God's bride, then we will be filled with this glow that comes from the inside and goes out and is radiant confidence and authenticity. And that, ladies, is so attractive. It's not just attractive to the friends who like you're compatible with, but it's also attractive to the people who are more than friends. Which brings me to my next point, right? Boys. You can't live with them, and as a race, we can't live without them. So will somebody please just take one for the team and deal with them? Who would like to take one for the team? I would. That sounds great. I'm gonna take a second right here and be like, I understand there are some people in this room who maybe not be called to a vocation that is marriage. We'll cover that in a minute, but understand that everything I'm about to say still applies, and I'll convince you why. So I have 3 questions for you. The first, I need you guys to make noise again because it's hard to see, but also raise your hands. Who wants to be respected, period, just in general? Ladies, me too. So who wants to have great relationships, romantic and not, just great relationships in general? And here's my other question. Who wants to have great sex? That got awkward. Oh my gosh. But let's be real. I totally, like, if I'm called to marriage, ladies, I want to have great sex. Are you kidding? Like, I don't want my marriage to suck. And not that sex determines whether or not your marriage sucks, but you understand what I'm saying. Okay. Just making sure we're all on the same plane. So, I need a volunteer here. Raise your hand if you want to volunteer for me. Okay, this will be fun because I can't really see any of you. Just here. Okay, so, I have to make a short introduction, and you just get to stand there. Okay? Cool. Alright, so when God created sex, he was really thinking, friends. He made it for two. Sorry, what's your name? Colleen. Welcome, Colleen. Give her a round of applause. If you want to step a little closer, just so you're in the camera. Okay, so anyway, when God created sex, he was really thinking. He made it for 2 things. It's more complicated than that, but it boils down to 2 things, and it's bonding and babies, right? So when he made it for bonding, he knew that marriage can be really, 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 really hard, right? So whatever's gonna bond this couple together has to be really strong. So obviously sex is very physical, right? Duh, sex is physical. Okay, so there's that. But what a lot of people don't know about sex is that it's also highly spiritual, it's extremely mental, and it's deeply emotional, right? So the reason God made it like that on so many levels is so that they can be bonded on that many levels and create that strong bond that they need. The baby's part I'm not going to explain to you, ask your parents. But anyway, so what we know about this bond is it's a bond and the baby. The thing is, even if sex isn't done in marriage, the bond is still created. And whenever it's outside marriage, it can be an extremely damaging and painful, horrible thing because that bond really rips stuff apart. So, all right, I have mustache duct tape here because let's be real, if you're gonna buy duct tape, you buy mustache duct tape. We're gonna pretend for a minute. We're gonna use our imaginations, right? I know you all have those because mine's very active and I'm in college, which means yours is active. This is me, Forrest. This is my emotions, my heart, basically, my feelings about sex, okay? All right, so let's just say I'm 16 years old. right? And I get my first boyfriend, and he is great. Guys, he's so funny, and he's so sweet, and we get along, and we have so much fun together, and it's a great relationship, right? So then my friends and his friends start asking each of us respectively some pretty awkward questions. They're like, so, you doing it? And I'm like, doing what? And they're just like, you know, I don't know. And then I'm like, wait, that? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, you! No! That's awful! And they're like, well, why not? Like, you love each other, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I love him. And they're like, well, aren't you gonna take your relationship to the next level? I mean, if you love him, you should take it to the next level. I'm like, I never really thought about it. So my boyfriend and I talk about it, and we just said that, yeah, we are ready to take it to the next level because we really love each other. So we make that bond.
Wait, I'm your boyfriend.
No. Heart. Unless you stick your heart to your boyfriend's arm, you are not my boyfriend.
Okay.
We're not dating. Okay. I'm not ready for this kind of commitment. All right. Anyway, guys, I'm not your boyfriend. So we make this bond, right? I'm using her arm, not her. Make this bond, and it's great. Like, we're totally bonded, and I'm very happy and stuff. But then we start to fight a lot, and whenever I talk to him about it, we promised that we wouldn't tell our friends about the stuff we've been doing, but I know he's telling his friends because I can tell they're looking at me differently in the hallway, and I don't like how that feels. And we used to have a lot of fun together. We used to go on like cool dates and stuff, but now the emphasis is less on the fun, and it's more about, you know, how much time can we find to be alone? And I just don't like that, and it makes me really uncomfortable. So, we start looking at my notes. So, I break up. Okay, but did it hurt?
No. Well, I mean, not. Yes.
Let me tell you, I practiced on myself earlier, and I have a bald spot. It hurts. No, literally, there's a bald spot. I'll show you later. But anyway, so it hurt, and my heart hurts. My heart hurts. This is, you know, we made a bond, we tore it apart. So, hold still. So anyway, we have this bond, right? And then I don't date my next year, but as a senior, I do date. And I find this guy, and he's great too. And so we date for a few months, and I love him. So we decide that we're also gonna make this bond. And so we do. But then this time, it doesn't make the relationship better, it makes it worse. He's doing that 24-hour texting thing where he's like, where are you been, who are you with, do you like pancakes? And I'm like, back off. This is ridiculous. And like, I don't know if I really like him, he's not as great as I thought. So we decide to break up. Did that hurt as bad?
I don't know.
No. It didn't. Anyway, so it didn't. I'm drawing from my experience earlier since you don't have any hair on your arms. Anyway, guys, it didn't hurt as bad because the bond wasn't as strong because, I mean, it was stronger the first time and stuff, and that's how this works. So it wasn't as bad, and my heart doesn't hurt as bad either, which is a good thing, right? Because pain sucks. So then I go to college, and I don't date my freshman year in college, but I date my sophomore year, and I find the one, right? I find him. He's great. And so we decide that we're going to also have this bond. But then, as I get to know him, he's not the guy that I thought he was, so we, after a few months, break up. And then, there's another guy after I graduate who if I thought the first one was the one, no, this one is, like, he's awesome, and he's funny, and he's just everything I want. And we decide we're so in love that we are not only gonna create this bond, but we're gonna live together. Because, I mean, we really love each other. And here's the thing, like, I know the church says no and stuff, and my parents aren't really happy about it, but the thing is, they don't understand my relationship. So we're gonna live together, and besides, we're getting married. But then the more I get to know him, first of all, he doesn't get engaged to me, and secondly, like, I find out that his morals and values are way different than I thought, and we just want different things out of life. Now, I've been with him for a long time, and it's really hard, but eventually I get up the courage and we break up. And then, that hurt. Okay. It's because we live together, not us. Anyway, so then there's another guy who I like, and that doesn't work, so we break up. But then, I'm like 28 or 29, and I meet the one, the guy that God actually created for me. And this guy's not like any of the rest. He's really into God, which I kind of dig, like I kind of like that. And he totally treats me differently. Like all the other guys kind of seem like this is what they wanted, but he's all about our fun dates. Like we have these awesome, amazing dates and stuff, ladies. We have these awesome dates and stuff, and we spend so much time getting to know each other. And I know he likes me for who I am because we spend all kinds of time together as people, and I know more about him, and he knows a lot about me and stuff. So we talk about getting married, and we get engaged, and then we do get married, and it's our wedding night, and it's supposed to be this amazing, magical experience, and the final thing that locks in our commitment to each other. And is that sticky? No. Thank you. Pauline, give it up. This, guys, this is a piece of trash. This is what society tells you should expect out of a relationship. Every time you are in a relationship with someone, and especially every time you engage in sexual activity, you give a part of your heart to them. Colleen, there's some stuff on here you are not getting back. You? But it's a piece of trash. It's completely useless. It's like actual trash. It's completely useless. I can't donate it. I can't, recycle it. It's just trash. And that's what society tells you. But you are not this. You are worth so much more than this. And one of the biggest problems with this is that whenever, I'm gonna throw this away now. Whenever I did that in my imaginary life or whatever, not only did I hurt myself, but I hurt my marriage with my husband. Because it's not as strong as it could have been, and we didn't have the experience we could have had on our wedding night that was supposed to bind us so much. So clearly, guys, we have a responsibility in our relationship with guys. And they also have a responsibility in their relationship with us, and we have responsibilities to ourselves to maintain the respect that we deserve. Now, for a minute, I'm going to talk about, I understand that not everyone is called to married life. But these things, this bonding, this deep relationship, this respect, these are all things that everyone should have in every relationship. This is something we can live even when we're not attracted to somebody. What? It's okay, I was giggling and I didn't think it was funny. So anyway, see, this guy's slide sucks, seriously. So my whole point here is that I'm going to get up here and I'm going to share with you guys some basic truths that I've learned through my experience and through the experience of those wiser than me. So the first thing, and this is the most important thing, if you take anything, take this. Every romantic relationship is a pyramid. There's this wide base at the bottom, and it's strong and firm, and it's called friendship. And then there's this smaller pointed part, and it's elegant and very beautiful. And it's what distinguishes the relationship as specifically romantic or as a pyramid, right? When you see people holding hands, you know that it's a romantic relationship. When you see the point on the pyramid, you know it's a pyramid. It's the same concept. So whenever you try to build a relationship and base it on infatuation, you build this relationship upside down. No matter what you do, it's going to be hard to balance. And there's not much there. It's really small. It's not much substance. And even if you can make a friendship balance on top and you can make it stay and hopefully it'll work out, the smallest thing will come by and knock it over and send it crashing to the ground and your heart's shattered. But if you base a relationship on friendship first, then the infatuation can go on top. Experts say on average infatuation lasts only about 2 years. So unless we want to get remarried every 2 years, that friendship is so important. And when you have that friendship and the infatuation goes away, your heart's not broken. You're left with this deep, dynamic, strong base in this strong relationship and this friendship. And it has room for the infatuation to come back at any time. It drives me crazy. Okay, raise your hand if you've heard this phrase. I just don't want to date him because we're really good friends. Right? Okay. Look, I understand. I understand the whole, we're really good friends. I don't want to, ruin the relationship if we break up. That's a rational fear. I'm glad you guys are aware of that. I think it's stupid. And here's why. But hear me out, though. So let's take a step back. I need you guys to shout out the answer to this question. What is the point of dating? To marry somebody. And if you don't marry anyone, you either keep dating or you go into single life or become a nun. Something like that. I'm kidding. Those are not second to marriage. I'm just messing with you you guys. But for real, like, it's to find a spouse. It's to find someone to marry. So if you're dating someone who you legitimately cannot ever see yourself marrying, what are you doing? Like, why are you dating them? You give a bit of your heart to everyone you date, and you're just kind of giving your heart for no reason. And you're kind of just dating to break up. You're dating in vain. This is what you guys might know as recreational dating. But on the flip side, think about this, marriage. It's spending your life for the rest of your life with someone who you will get to know very, very well on very many different levels of their soul and their body and their spirituality and their mind. And you're going to make and raise a family with this person, with this boy. And you're going to get arthritis with him. And you're going to go through all these things with him. I don't know about you, but why on earth would you want to marry someone you're not friends with? Right? I want to be friends with my husband. I want to be best friends. So if you're thinking about dating someone and you're like, well, we're too good of friends, I mean, it's one thing to not be attracted to them, but don't let the friendship scare you off, because what you actually have is the most important part of a relationship right there. It drives me crazy when people say that they're too good of friends, because what that says to me is that they're looking for something other than friendship and relationship, and that is the wrong place to start. That is extremely unhealthy. The other thing that drives me crazy is whenever I tell this to people, they go, oh, Forrest, that's if you're dating seriously. I'm not dating seriously, I just want to get to know what I like in a guy. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I've never had this experience where I get to know a lot about a person by making out with them. I don't know what part of a dating relationship is so within that relationship that I can't get the same information out of being friends with that person. And I have personal experience in this realm. With my life and my dating, I follow if we're not going to get married or even sort of at all, then we're not going to date. And if I'm going to date you, we're going to be friends first, very close friends. I need to know you very well first. So I have this friend of mine who is really attractive. He's like a very good friend of mine now, because when I first met him, I was like, he seems really cool. I want to get to know him, maybe date him one day. So I became really good friends with him anyway, because I wanted to. And then as I got to be friends with him, I began to see things in him that I was like, that is how I want my husband to be. And then there were things that I was like, that is not how I want my husband to be. And I learned through him the kind of things that I do and don't like in guys, and I've never done anything even remotely physical with him, even though there's a part of me that would totally like to. But that's also called self-control. So I know better, because I'm not going to marry him, because I found things in him that I'm like, I know I can find better. And he's a very close friend of mine, but I learned from him that what I do and don't like, and I never had to date him. I never had to give up that part of my heart that's related to an intimate relationship, which I think is what a lot of people forget. So if you focus on the reality of the relationship as discernment, it changes the attitude and goals, and you are way less likely to get used.